is a full place setting that you will see as you enter a room when you're having dinner, lunch, or perhaps even at a reception. Sometimes your salad will be preset, but in this case, this is just showing you how the full place setting would look. This is a preset dining where you have the preset of your salad, the preset of your soup, and an appetizer, as well as your dessert and bread. Typically, your soup will not be preset, but just for demonstration purposes only, we have preset the soup. I am going to share with you some tips as we begin to dine and take part of this 4-course meal. Now, I am standing behind the chair. So, gentlemen, as you are out on a date with your ladies, please understand and know that when you're in a restaurant, you should pull the chair back for her to sit. If the waiter or waitress does not do it for you, you pull the chair back, allow her to sit. And ladies, this is how you will sit at your dining table, and swerve your legs around. And the gentleman will usually push your seat forward under the table, or the waiter. Usually the waiter or the waitress will take the napkin and add it to your lap as such. And so if this takes place, you just stand at attention from this perspective to give them room to place the napkin in your lap. Let's talk about the setting of this table. So to your right, you have your drinks. And we have water. We have the white wine glass. This is your red wine glass. And this is your champagne glass. Always remember, your bread is to the left and your drinks are to the right. Some people like to do ball where it says D and B to know that your bread is to your left and your drinks are to your right. Again, we want to eat from outside in. This is my salad fork. This is my salad knife. So I will eat, or appetizer, salad, entree. Appetizer, salad, entree. Soup, salad knife, entree. Again, we are eating starting with first courses on the outside. So by the time you get to the entree, you have utilized all utensils that are at the place setting. Outside in. Drinks to the right, bread to your left. Here is an appetizer. This is usually served to you prior to your salad as well. So depending on what the appetizer is how you would eat it. This is an Asian dumpling. I have the extra fork. I will cut the dumpling. And dip it, and then partake. So typically your bread will be in the center of the table in a basket, but for demonstration today, and your bread plate would be empty, and you would not have butter on your bread plate. That would be in the center of the table as well. But let me tell you a funny story. You're gonna make mistakes. I've even made mistakes. Several months ago, I was at a luncheon with a lot of executives, and guess what I did? I grabbed my bread and I put it on my plate to the right of me because I'm right-handed. And the person sitting next to me did not have a bread plate, but she didn't say anything. And as I was sitting there, I looked, I went, God dog it, I made a mistake. So what am I saying? If someone use your plate in error, don't call them out. Just keep it moving. And when I realized the mistake that I made, I actually took my empty bread plate and replaced her bread plate with the empty one, and I took the one that I had placed my bread on. So it's okay if you make a mistake. You're gonna make them. So don't feel embarrassed or like you need to master this, okay? Always pay attention to the program. In your program, it will show the blessing of the food, or lunch is served, or dinner is served. That's when you begin to eat your salad. A lot of times people will eat in advance, but typically you would want to eat that based on the function of the program. If you're at a luncheon or a program that have a program, look at the program and see when do you begin to partake of the lunch or the dinner, instead of immediately beginning to partake of your salad, even though it is preset. Now, at this setting, we have the salad first. So let's just act like the table is full. If there were other occupants at this table and they were placing the salad on the plate, you would wait until everyone is served prior to dressing the salad or partaking of the salad. If you like salt or pepper on your salad, and you notice it's in the center of the table, so it may be closer to the person on my left. Well, if I ask for the salt or the pepper, to my right, the person on my right would grab the salt and pepper shaker and pass it to me. Now, the person on my right may want to use the salt and pepper, but because I requested it, they pass it to me first and allow me to pass it back to them, and then they are able to dress their salad with the salt or the pepper. Now I'm going to dress my salad. So I have my dressing here, and usually the waiter will dress the salad for you, or there's a utensil within the salad. So, what I will share with you is your place setting. You always eat outside in, right? This was a smaller fork that was on the outside because it is the first course meal, which is a salad. So outside in. As a result, I have 3 knives. So I'm gonna use my knife that's on the outside to cut my salad. If you need to cut portions of your salad, your knife is always behind your fork. And you use your fork to keep things in place so that your food don't go all over your plate. The only thing that's moving is what I'm cutting. Now let's talk about how we're gonna eat this. I'm right-handed, so I have to switch my knife and fork. I use my knife to assist me in putting food on my fork. I hold it in place while I secure it with my fork. One hand in my lap. So again, I am using my knife to assist me of putting food on my fork. I know when we're at home we use our hands, but we're gonna use our knife when we're at a setting with colleagues. I can feel food on my lips. That's why after I put the food in my mouth, I dab. And I don't typically talk with food in my mouth because you don't want anything spewing out. So now let's talk about how we eat soup in a formal setting. I have soup. This is my soup spoon. Let's talk about how you eat the soup. I know when we're at home, around family, we eat soup like this. That is not how you eat soup in a formal setting. You always take your soup and scoop it away from you. The reason why you scoop away from you, because if it was really soupy, when it goes up, it won't fall on you. So therefore, when you're eating your soup, you scoop away. All right, so now we're showing entrees. I have salmon with asparagus and mashed potatoes. You notice I still have a smaller fork here. This fork would be extra if I had something else, but I don't, so I'm not gonna use this fork. The large fork is my entree fork. The case knife, the knives are the same, so I'm still going to use this particular knife, outside in. Now, if you're at a steakhouse, you'll have a steak knife, or they'll bring you a knife if you order the steak so that you would be able to cut the steak with that particular knife. When it comes to cutting, you want to position your fork and cut behind your meat. And you want to cut it in small bites because you don't want food to actually fall out of your mouth. And again, we will not begin eating our entree until everyone at the table has been served. Once everyone at the table have been served, then we will begin to partake. I'm right-handed, so I have to change. Again, I use my knife to position my food on my fork. I love salmon. It is okay to move things around on your plate because I want to be able to get to the mashed potatoes. So it's okay to move things around, but again, I use my knife to position the food on my fork, and I secure it to make sure that food is not going to fall off the fork as I bring it to my mouth. So now here's the biggest challenge. Cutting chicken with a bone in it. Is it doable? Absolutely, you can do it. So, notice, since this is dark meat, you can tell where the leg and the thigh is positioned together. You want to cut there to separate. Again, I am positioning my fork within the thigh as I begin to cut. The drumstick, I know you normally pick it up at home and eat it. So do I. But because we're in a formal setting, we're gonna position the chicken. And typically what I do is try to cut all my meat off at one time for this particular piece. Again, your fork and your knife are sisters and brothers. They help each other. See how easy that was? If you're like me, I normally like white meat, and I usually don't eat the skin of the chicken. So you can just hold the chicken and remove your skin as such. Remember, your knife and your fork are sisters and brothers. They help each other. And just cut off the lean meat. And it's okay to leave the skin on the plate and move things around where it's comfortable for you so that you can eat what you like. If there's something that is served that you don't eat, don't worry about it, just leave it on the plate. Okay, I think I want some bread with my salmon. So this is your butter knife. You could use it to position, and you can use your hand to cut your bread, or you can pull it apart and then section off pieces of butter, and you cut in the middle of the piece that you have sectioned off and spread your butter in as such and pack it. Either I typically pull off pieces, a small piece at a time, to eat my bread. Okay, so now it is time for my favorite part of the meal, and that's dessert. So, typically, when you're in the place setting, you have your coffee cup up to be served coffee during dessert time. If you do not drink coffee and you don't want any or don't want tea, the correct thing to do is to just turn your cup down. That will notify the waiter that you would not like any coffee. And you would typically see this at a banquet or a luncheon or a formal program, a gala. You will always have a coffee cup. So just turn it upside down. And again, that will tell the waiter that you do not want any coffee. Dessert. Typically, in a full setting, you may have multiple desserts on the table. Different kinds of desserts, sometime at galas, just so that people can have options. If you don't like the dessert that is set in front of your setting, and you're with someone and they don't like their dessert, you all could communicate and exchange. But you don't just automatically change what's in front of your place setting with someone else because it's not something that you prefer. So you see the utensils here. The spoon is, again, depending on the type of dessert you have. If it was like a creme brulee or some ice cream or something, I would probably use my spoon. But because this is cheesecake, I am going to use the fork. So this setting here is for dessert and coffee. So I would use my fork. I would take my toothpick out of the cheesecake and begin to partake in my favorite dessert, which is cheesecake.